Chapter 16. Something that is nothing. Arvis's forest was soon becoming dark after its sun began to sink. Matthias was staring at Layla, who looked at the dead bird with blurry eyes. There was a period of silence between them. He was still patiently waiting, because he believed Layla wouldn't be able to run away for a while. Layla lifted her head. Her pupils were brimming with anger that even the dark couldn't mask. Her eyes were arrogant and brazen, but Matthias thought that was far better than her avoiding his gaze.
Just tell me, what did I do wrong?
Wrong?
Yes. What wrongdoing have I committed against you? Why should I be punished like this?
I never punished you.
Matthias laughed.
I did my job, and you, Layla, did yours.
After a brief moment of wondering, Matthias looked at Layla again with a subdued glance.
Wrongdoing? Huh. Why do you like birds so much?
He repeated the same question. Layla looked up to the sky, towards the dead bird, and then back to Matthias. Her shoulders trembled, but her eyes staring at him remained wide open. It irritated Matthias, but at the same time amusing as well.
They're always by my side.
Layla answered aloud to his question. There was a wave of slight anger in her voice, but it didn't sound rude or offensive.
Ever since I was a child, I've been traveling around a lot of different places. But the birds were always there wherever I went. They were always in my vicinity. As the seasons change, some of the birds who had gone away would still return as I waited for them. The birds always came back to me.
Layla's voice became softer as she spoke. Perhaps the tenderness had been caused by her smooth articulation.
The birds are there in every season. I can find them in every place. I love living around these lovely and free creatures.
Really?
Yes, but it might be meaningless to you, Duke.
Matthias giggled low, looking at Layla, who blustered with a teary-eyed expression and rose to his feet. It seemed the time of the dinner party had approached before he realized it.
Are you going to hunt like this again?
Layla stopped him when he was preparing to leave.
If it's necessary.
Matthias answered without skipping a second. He was pleased. Layla's eyes, which were filled with despair, fear, and frustration after that, really satisfied him. After briefly altering his mind, Matthias stood in front of her.
Layla, everything in my life has to be in its place, where there's no need for someone to run or hide.
What do you mean?
Simply stay in your place.
Place? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Think it through thoroughly.
Duke.
Who knows? I might consider a friendly hunting session if you find the answer.
Matthias walked away, leaving behind a dazed Layla. He didn't want to hold high hopes towards her, but he wanted Layla Llewellyn to stay in her place. As an orphan living in the forest. As a studious schoolgirl. And soon, as a female teacher in the place where she should be, sitting on the back of his horse. Matthias turned his head and looked towards the bush. There, Layla was still curled up before the dead bird. Matthias believed she was crying as he noticed a sparkle on her cheeks. There was a sense of contentment blooming in his eyes when Matthias saw her tears. He was born into a world where perfect order reigned, supreme, and now he was on his way to being its master. Underneath that principle, everything in his world stayed simple and clear. Living up to a specific role or meeting a set of expectations wasn't at all problematic. He was his grandmother's and mother's proud successor, the gracious master of Arvis's people, the brilliant commander on the battlefield, not to mention even the director of a successful business. He was always somebody something, and Matthias willingly played that role. The people around him also viewed him in the same light. He polished their designated roles, actions, and feelings in a structured manner. Those were the emotions that he always saw, heard, and learned.
But that poor orphan who lives in my forest?
Matthias's eyes narrowed as he looked at Layla.
She's nothing.
Matthias smiled when he realized how easy the conclusion had been. It was the first time something that was nothing had invaded his world. Duke of Herheart didn't need any extra stains in his life. Nevertheless, it was queer to have something that he didn't need in his life. And yet, Matthias thought it wasn't too bad. That woman whose value was equivalent to nothing. Her sentiments displayed before him amused him a little, much as seeing a flying bird plummet to its death, especially her tears. He enjoyed seeing Layla cry. She was such a lovely weeper, attractive enough to him to make her cry over and over again. Matthias made his way out of the forest with a content heart. In the mansion where he returned, he went through the same routine, a dinner with a raucous crowd, the ornate but empty conversations adorned with the ice-cold champagne and artificial laughter. After the brief summer night had passed and the morning came again, Matthias thought that doing friendly hunting wouldn't be a bad idea next time. When he looked out the window, Layla was there. She worked in the rose garden, quietly helping the gardener with his job.
See,
Matthias chuckled as he turned away from the window.
it's that easy, Layla.
Thank you, Layla.
Claudine graciously conveyed her thanks. Her sitting friend also thanked Layla with a slight smile.
No problem, miss.
Layla bent respectfully and clasped her white palms together. The grass had stained her fingers as she plucked the flowers. Furthermore, the rose thorns had pierced her fingers, leaving several blood-stained bruises too.
Now I will.
Can you cut off that red rose as well? A bouquet is enough.
Claudine cut her off mid-sentence. She gestured to Layla to turn around and looked at the garden's flower field, brimming with vibrantly colored red roses in full bloom.
Yes, miss.
Layla obediently carried out her orders as always. Claudine silently watched her distant back. She found Layla while strolling through the garden with a friend who had paid a visit to the Arvis Manor. That orphan girl was working hard today to help the gardener after being gone for several days. Claudine then canceled their tea date and suggested to her friend, Emily, to arrange the flowers instead. Emily enthusiastically agreed, and under the vine rose-covered pergola, the maids prepared the flower arrangements for the two ladies. After that, Claudine dispatched a maid to call Layla. They had been like this since they were children. Whenever Claudine made a flower arrangement under the pergola, Layla Llewellyn's job was to get the roses she needed. Layla wasn't good enough to be Claudine's playmate, but she was very good at doing errands. Claudine would sometimes call her on days when she was bored, only to say a few words. "That girl behaves very politely, but she has an arrogant air," Emily said, pouting her lips while watching Layla.
How should I put it? She doesn't seem to know where she belongs.
Don't be like that, Emily. Layla is a pitiful child.
Claudine frowned slightly and cut off the rose branches with the scissors Layla had given her. For sure, she has shortcomings, but let's still be tolerant of her. Claudine's words made Emily laugh.
Well, aren't you overly kind to your attendant?
An attendee who diligently performs their roles should be respected.
Claudine's voice became lower and softer. She placed the flowers one by one in the blue porcelain vase after trimming them. Layla returned shortly after with a bouquet of red roses. She bowed politely to them once again and put the roses on the table. Claudine stopped her hands and looked at her. Emily's criticism of Layla seemed accurate. She had interacted with the child for a long time now, and somehow she agreed with Emily's words. Claudine honestly didn't get why Emily could give such a critique about Layla. Layla Llewellyn's docile manner seemed to be derived from her indifferent attitude. Many famous noble daughters wished to be friends with Claudine, whereas Layla lacked enthusiasm and wasn't happy whenever Claudine was around her. She never bothered to make herself presentable in front of Claudine, and she never flattered her either. In a nutshell, Layla was the type of person who endured and obediently followed orders. Claudine wasn't used to being overlooked by anyone. She felt belittled that an orphan had treated her with such indifference.
Good job, Layla.
Claudine smiled kindly. Layla took a step back as she bent, and the maid approached her from a short distance away. Claudine had been looking forward to this moment the most. The moment when Layla's true feelings were seen through her eyes. In the same way she did when she was awarded a gold coin. Even after all these years, Layla couldn't keep her cool when given the gold coin. Claudine was pleased when Layla's hand, which held the gold coin, trembled like grasping a hot potato. To top it off, Claudine was planning to give her another present, a party invitation which would give a wonderful experience for that poor girl.
Are you giving this to me?
Layla looked flustered. Her eyes grew wider when she received an invitation from the same maid who had given her the gold coin.
Yes, I had asked the two duchesses for permission and they allowed it.
But miss,
I really want you to come, Layla.
Claudine smiled as she interrupted Layla's words a second time, but her bright smile made Layla's complexion look even paler.
I'm sure you won't turn down my invitation.
After talking with Layla as if she were a longtime childhood friend, Claudine took her eyes away from her.
I have to tame that obstinate child before I become Duchess of Arvis.
Claudine made up her mind as she trimmed the bunch of red roses on the table and skillfully decorated the floral vase with exquisite beauty.